Now that President Obama has nominated Ben Bernanke for another 4-year term as Fed chairman, and pundits say he's a shoo-in, the focus turns to the next 4 years. What are the biggest challenges Mr. Bernanke faces, and can he meet them? Bloomberg's Kathleen Hayes joins us now with a special guest. Kathleen?
Mark, thank you so much. Our next guest was a member of the Fed's Board of Governors from 1996 until 2002. He's co-founder of Macroeconomic Advisors and president of Meyer's Monetary Policy Insight. Laurence Meyer joins us now. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Kathleen.
You know, I've heard a lot about the word continuity, how important this is right now, and why it was one good reason for President Obama to reappoint Ben Bernanke. Do you agree, and if so, why?
Yes, continuity has never been more important. We are in a situation where Bernanke has introduced creatively and aggressively a series of very aggressive policy actions, appropriate given the extraordinary times. And we really need someone with experience and judgment and leadership to go the next phase and navigate the economy through the exit.
And in fact, another Fed watcher earlier today said that to really cement his legacy, it's not just getting us through the crisis, it's carrying us over into non-inflationary stable growth. And this gets us all the challenges, including the exit strategy. You know, in your piece that you wrote about the mood in Jackson Hole, you do a very thorough job of vetting what everyone was saying out there for a couple of days. You raised the question of trying to figure out, has easing ended yet? That kind of surprised me because I thought we were all trying to figure out when tightening started.
I think one has to keep in mind that the end of easing doesn't prejudge at all the timing of tightening. I think everybody on the committee agrees that the first tightening is a very long way off. But just the decision to end easing is a very important one for the committee.
Have they stopped easing, Larry?
Well, you know, everything is conditional on the economic outlook and whether the economy underperforms the FOMC's forecast. Our view is, and based on my conversations, is that the FOMC is no longer willing to take actions to further expand the balance sheet because they see the benefits as very uncertain and they see real costs of going in that direction.
Now, what about paying interest on reserves? Because, again, Ben Bernanke is going to have to find more technical tools that all of us are going to have to explain to the rest of the world. But is this the tool that's going to be enough to implement the exit strategy?
Well, if we mean by the exit strategy allowing the Fed ultimately to raise the federal funds rate, the answer is yes, but qualified. Almost all members of the committee believe that it has to be a two-pronged approach, using interest on reserves on the one hand and also reducing the level of reserves and the balance sheet on the other hand.
Now, Larry, you also wrote in this piece, again, after talking to many Fed officials, you know, behind the scenes, that the exit itself is really a pretty long way off.
Yes. Look, we think it's at the end of 2011. I don't want to guess and pin down exactly where the committee thinks it is. I think nobody would be prepared to even guess that, in part because it's a long way off and because it's so uncertain what the economic outlook is going to be. But nevertheless, there is no doubt that they think it is a very long way off, and that would tell me that probably not in 2010.
So no interest rate increase at all in 2010. Does the markets get nervous if we keep the key rate at zero that long?
Yes, they will. But I suspect they'll be less nervous when the unemployment rate rises further to about 10%, lingers at a very high level for a long time, and inflation falls significantly. This will disconfirm market expectations that there's a real risk that inflation is going to increase.
You know, Larry, Ben Bernanke's getting a lot of accolades right now, but we know how quickly that can turn. If unemployment gets to 10% and moves higher and stays there, does the Fed, the Bernanke Fed, then get the blame for a jobless recovery?
Well, I think this is perhaps the most important issue. Most observers of the Fed believe that the next key decision and how the Bernanke's legacy will be assessed is how the Fed navigates towards exit, not too soon, not too late. I think it can be argued, on the other hand, that the debate in a couple of years will be, why was the Fed not more stimulative today and immediately going forward, given their forecast today.
Okay. Larry Meyer, thanks for joining us. The view from Jackson Hole carried forward into the future. Thanks so much. Mark, back to you.